So, what do you see as the future of DUI in terms of the punishments and the number of offenders?
Um, I think that uh, it's very clear what's going to happen with DUIs as we move forward in the future. I think that it's something that people can stand up and say, hey, look, this is a serious problem. We need to get tough on crime. We need to do something about the disparity in sentences between judges, between offenders. We need to get more serious about it. We need to make the penalties harsher, and that's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, if you look back historically at DUI laws and how they've changed, the punishment has only ever gotten harsher. And so there's no reason to think that that's going to change in the future. The punishment will continue to become harsher. And I think that at some point in time, you're going to see Colorado really impose something that may be relating to a habitual offender type situation or multiple offender situation, or really more of a felony situation where you know you could be looking at a DUI or multiple DUIs and be looking at a felony, where that's not necessarily the case now. So I mean, the laws have changed. I mean, we went from having a DUI level with no DWAI at 0.15 to DUI at zero point 0.1 and a DWAI, which never used to exist, at 0.05, and now the DUI level is down to 0.08. So, the standards become more strict, and as the standards become more strict, I think that you'll also see an increase in the rise of punishment. And I think that, the increase in penalties for people and their ability to drive with the Department of Motor Vehicles. And, I think that you're going to continue to see people getting DUIs because when people are out, our society encourages people to go out and to be social and, to go out to restaurants and go to bars and to drink. And that's not going to change, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But when people do that, they make poor decisions, and oftentimes that involves driving. So, I think you're going to see people continuing to get DUI charges, and then until they take away parking lots in bars, there's no reason to believe that it's not going to continue to be an issue, and it's going to be something that people are going to have to pay attention to and really get legal help and legal advice on, because the penalties will get stiffer, the restrictions will get stiffer, and the consequences will be more and more serious.
Okay. So, what's the ballpark cost of a DUI, start to finish, if it's not an aggravated one?
In terms of legal expenses or total expenses, or
Uh, Break it down between legal and total, I guess.
well, it kind of depends upon the situation. The way that our law firm does it is we give people the option of choosing to pay for legal representation by the hour or working out a flat fee. And each circumstance is going to be a little bit different depending upon the seriousness of the charge, how many prior offenses that person has. Are they charged with DWAI? Are they charged with DUI? What type of test did they do? There's all kinds of little factors. So, it's going to vary. The costs are going to vary. But I would say probably on average, you're looking at legal expenses on average of at least $2,500 probably. And if you go to trial, you're looking at more than that. And then, you're looking at additional expenses. You're usually looking at, anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 in court costs and fines. You're looking at having to pay increased insurance rates for having to carry SR22 insurance, as well as having a major traffic violation on your record. You're looking at having to do DUI classes, what they call level 2 alcohol education and possibly therapy here in Colorado. And those things run about $15 or so per hour, and usually you're looking at a minimum of 24 hours, all the way up to 96 hours if you have to do a lot of therapy. That can get expensive. Looking at having to do community service and pay fees and bonds for that. You're also looking at some other incidental expenses that you're going to have to run into, here and there. One of the conditions that you may have to face is some type of monitored sobriety, either while you're on bond, or while your case is pending, or might be a condition of probation if you receive probation. So if you have to do random breath tests or random urinalysis, or if you maybe have to do something more serious and do an abuse or a scram unit or a scram device, that's expensive. If you have to get the interlock device installed in your vehicle, that costs to install. There's a monthly rental fee. It costs to uninstall. So the cost can, spiral upwards. And I think, the stuff that I've seen, the cost of a DUI, including legal fees, from beginning to end, can run as much as $10,000.
Yeah, as you're talking about the costs, there were so many, I almost was afraid to have asked a question. It sounds like
Okay.
you're buying a home, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. You think you're just paying for the home, and then you actually get the paperwork and you look at it, and there's this fee for that and this fee for that, and yeah, it's nowhere near as fun as buying a home. But yeah, those, and I didn't even mention all the expenses. I mean, you have to bond out of jail if your car gets towed. There's quite a bit of things that can happen. Obviously, a lot of those things can be avoided with successful legal representation, or be minimized with successful legal representation. But the absolute honest answer is the best way to avoid those costs is to avoid getting in the car while you're under the influence.
Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, my last question is, what makes your firm unique in providing DUI defense, and what kind of personal statement do you want to make to all potential clients that are watching your video and that want to hire you?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing that makes our firm unique is that I try to deal with everybody on a very personalized individual basis. I do the best to have my clients contact me by phone. So if they call me, they're going to be getting me on the phone. I'm going to be returning the phone call. When they show up to meet for a consultation, I'm the owner of the firm. I'm going to be sitting down and meeting with them. And then when we have to go to court, I try to be the person in virtually 99.9% of the circumstances, unless there's a super emergency that I can't avoid, I'm going to be the one in court there with you. So a lot of times, at other firms, you'll call and talk to a paralegal or to a legal secretary, and you won't necessarily be able to talk to the attorney, or the attorney will, tell you that they're going to take on your case and then send out a different lower level attorney, like an associate, to handle your case. And, there they are in court calling out your name because they've never met you before. So I've got all the experience, and I try to do that, that personal touch where we do all the communications and meetings and court appearances with me. The other thing is I have a lot of experience doing DUI defense work. That's the niche that our firm is working in. And so you're hiring someone who's got a lot of experience, not only with the public defender's office, but also working as a private attorney to handle DUIs and DUI cases. And the other thing is I think that's important, is it's important for an attorney to be honest with their client. A lot of people, want to tell you, well, this is what's going to happen. Here's what we're going to be able to do. Get in here, pay the retainer fee right away, and then, they're not able to deliver on those promises because they haven't been honest with their client. I try to be honest. If it's a situation where the client can, do whatever it is that needs to be done on their own without an attorney, I try to be honest and say, hey, look, this is a situation where without hiring an attorney, you can probably get the same result that I can. Or, here's really the situation, or here's what we can do. Other thing that we do is we also try to work with our clients in terms of payments. Like I said previously, we give clients the option of, paying by the hour or paying by a flat fee basis. And then also if clients need help on that, maybe they want to do a flat fee, but they want to do like a payment plan or a payment schedule, that's usually something we can work out with people. So we try not to have cost be a barrier to legal representation.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that we're able to do. The other thing real quick is that whenever we take on a DUI case, I try to do representation for both the criminal side of things as well as the administrative side of things with the DMV. So when you hire me on, it includes both representation with the Department of Motor Vehicles as well as with the county court thing, and I've got a lot of experience going through that administrative process and even going through the appellate process of that administrative process.